So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, grand welcome for Narendra Modi as hundreds turn up to get a closer look at India's leader. Prime Minister Vorengam Bainimarama apologizes for Sadelpa's absence from Parliament. And visa upon arrival in India among major agreements reached between Fiji and India. Good evening, Fiji. I'm Edwin Nand. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was given a grand welcome as he arrived at Nosuri Airport this morning. Shanal Sivan begins our coverage of Modi's one-day state visit.
It's almost 6 o'clock, and that what you see there is India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arriving in Fiji, and we should be shortly expecting him here. He will be meeting the Prime Minister and government ministers, and a guard of honor will also be inspected. Flight K5014 touched down at Nosuri Airport at 6 o'clock this morning. This is Narendra Modi's first visit to Fiji, and more significantly, this visit comes just 5 months after he was elected into office. Modi was warmly welcomed by Prime Minister Vorengam Bainimarama and other government officials. He then was escorted to a guard of honor mounted by the Fiji military forces. The RFMF band played India's national anthem as he inspected the guard of honor. The arrival of Modi was also broadcasted live in India by Doordarshan TV. The leader of the largest democracy was also accorded a guard of honor by hundreds of Fijians on the King's Road as his motorcade made its way to the Grand Pacific Hotel. Before making his way to the Albert Park, Modi rested at the Grand Pacific Hotel, from where he tweeted this picture of the shores and said, "Bula from Fiji on the shores of the Pacific Ocean among wonderful people." Modi was officially welcomed at the Albert Park. Shanal Shivan, FBC News.
And India's leader was accorded a full traditional welcome at Albert Park this morning. Invited guests and the public turned up in large numbers for this historic occasion. Watisoni Raikandroka reports.
There were strict security checks at the park, but that did not deter the public. Hundreds of students, families and invited guests came to see the leader of the world's largest democracy receive a gesture of Fijian hospitality.
And we are joined today by the people from the village of Sorkumba in Ba, who gave the traditional welcome.
People from Sorkumba village in Ba performed the traditional Lengwana ceremony. Staff from the Itauke Ministry were also a part of the ceremony, presenting the whales to Otambua, Yangona and Mangiti Wakaturanga, or the presentation of Chiflikaba and food. The ceremony is seen as an opportunity to showcase the rich traditional Itauke culture to Prime Minister Modi. It was a ceremony that Prime Minister Borengen Bainimarama acknowledged as centuries old and a gift from Fiji's heart to visitors to our shore.
We Fijians have always considered business to be special. Our ancestors understood that business had to make a dangerous journey across the waters of the Pacific in order to reach our shores. They made them special, and the Fijian tradition of hospitality continues today.
Prime Minister Modi warmly received the ceremony, saying he is moved by the warm welcome.
I just stepped on the ground in Fiji, and now after this ceremony, I am reminded once again how enchanting our world is. It is beautiful because of the richness and diversity of traditions and customs around the world.
The display of traditional Fijian culture today will doubt be forever etched in the memories of not just the Indian Prime Minister, but his high-level delegations as well. Today's events also a sign that a small country like Fiji can play host to the world's most sought-after leaders. What is Rican Roca, FBC News.
Fiji and India have signed 3 memoranda of understanding at a meeting between the Prime Ministers of the two countries. These include a line of credit, areas of exchange and training for diplomats, and transfer of land to the High Commission of India in Fiji. Vitika Pratap was at the signing.
Especially my meeting with Mr. Prime Minister Bainimarama will mark the start of new era India-Fiji relations.
Narendra Modi's visit has been described as an opportunity to renew old relationships and lay the foundation for a strong partnership in the future. This was evident in both leaders signing agreements after the traditional welcome ceremony in Suva.
Today we signed 3 memorandum of understanding on the exchange of land for a new chancery building in New Delhi, and diplomatic exchanges that will allow Fiji's diplomats to train at the Indian government's Foreign Service Institute, and on project financing for electricity cogeneration plant funded through the Exim Bank of India. This is only the beginning. We have some 15 more agreements in the works, and we expect to sign them soon on agriculture, on trade, on health, water sports, and other areas of development.
The Indian Prime Minister, while outlining the areas of cooperation, thanked Fiji for including India in its priorities and promoting India-Fiji ties.
On India's new assistance projects in Fiji, these include a parliament library, a fund of $5 million to promote small business and village enterprise in Fiji, a line of credit of $70 million for cogeneration power plants, and a doubling the scholarship and training slots in India for Fiji. We will do more in other areas such as tourism and cultural exchange. I am happy to announce visa on arrival for Fiji.
India will also assist Fiji with climate change issues.
India and Fiji feel the impact of climate change. We are also prepared to increase cooperation in renewable energy, especially solar and wind energy, and in building capacity to adapt to climate change. In addition, we would share our experience and expertise in disaster management and response.
Fiji has also been commended for hosting a group of Indian scientists involved in the country's first Mars mission earlier this year. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Narendra Modi becomes the first foreign dignitary to address our newly formed parliament. The Indian Prime Minister says the two nations share many commonalities, one of which is a constitution that empowers the people.
People in Fiji have a different histories, ethnicities, languages and religions. But they stand together as one nation of Fijians with one voice and one vision and one aspiration. In both nations, we have vested our power in our people.
Modi made reference to our history of indentured labour, saying it's created an everlasting bond between Fiji and India.
For India, Fiji will always have a special place. The tide of history brought many from India to your shores. It has forced our ties of culture and kinship. But our relationship today stands on a much broader base of our shared values and our common interests as developing countries.
Apart from economic cooperation, he is committed to building stronger relations with Fiji in the field of science, education and culture.
As Fiji adjusts to the changing global markets, India is prepared to be your partner in making your existing industry stronger and finding new opportunities for youth.
Modi flies back to India later tonight. Coming up after the break, Fijians extend warm hospitality to Narendra Modi as he takes time to meet the crowd.
Nisambula, oyo Mr. Ben. Ela pa. Nama kikira na vima taka moni chikira vorumbu kama na ono kenda liwa ena buru FM.
Welcome back. The government has apologized to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi this morning for the absence of SODELPA's opposition members in Parliament. The message was relayed by Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama during a special parliamentary sitting. Savera Tambua has more.
SODELPA wanted the Itaukei chiefs to be part of the traditional welcoming ceremony. Because they were not included, SODELPA boycotted the ceremony in Parliament. The absence of SODELPA's opposition members at the special parliamentary sitting for Modi this morning displeased the Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama.
I apologize to you, Prime Minister Modi, on behalf of the people of Fiji, for this inexcusable behavior, which does not have anything to do with the relation between our two countries. It only shows that some of us have lessons to learn about democracy, about statecraft and nationhood.
People flocked to Albert Park to witness the leader of the world's largest democracy. Some Fijians say they find the boycott from SODELPA is unacceptable.
As we're going through the democracy government, this is the government we've chosen. So I think it's better for all of us to just cope and support government of the day.
I think time was too short coming all the way from India, and it wouldn't allow many people, and his program too so tight, and I think too short to have many things at once.
Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, came to Fiji. I think he just came for a visit to the government. So I think the government is responsible for that.
FBC News is seeking comments from SODELPA leader Rote Momokiapa this afternoon, but she has proved unreachable. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
About 250 police officers have been deployed for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's one-day state visit. Akosita Tale reports everything is going as planned.
Since the arrival of Indian Prime Minister and his delegation to our shores this morning, the Fiji Police Force and the Indian security details have been working well together.
We are closely liaising with the security detail of the Honorable Prime Minister. We have discussed with them in the weekend, and also they've recommended some of the security arrangements that so far.
Tunravu adds they also want to ensure there are restrictions on movements during the state visit.
Locally, we have joint operations with the military on the close protections and the inner and outer cordon of our security arrangements.
With only a few hours left before Modi's departure, the public have been commended for adhering to the advice put out by the force.
As we would like members of the public to come and see the Honorable Prime Minister, yet they have to be mindful of the security arrangements that are in place. It's not to deter them from viewing the Prime Minister, but if they can understand the situations that we are heading into in regards to his security.
Grand Pacific Hotel, where the Prime Minister and his entourage have been based, has been swarming with security personnel from both Fiji and India. For now, the Fiji Police Force can be commended as they have received confirmation that the Indian security detail is satisfied with their arrangements. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
And Narendra Modi has won the hearts of Fijians who attended the welcome ceremony today. Modi took time out of his very busy schedule to meet the public. Sakyusa Nevua has more.
For someone who has a huge following back home and other countries that he has visited since his elections 5 months ago, Modi was not going to leave without meeting Fijians. He walked towards the marquee where guests were seated. Mala Prasad and her two friends came as early as 7 a.m. to get a good seat, and they were not disappointed.
I think we are fortunate, very fortunate, because we came over and India and Fiji has got ties because we originally, our ancestors are from there. So it was worth coming and then shaking hands with him. That was the biggest achievement we had, yeah. That was it, and we're very happy.
Prasad's friend is a retired school teacher from India.
I'm really very happy to be here, and I did not only see him, but I also shook hand with him, and then it was very good opportunity for me to come, and I give thanks to all my friends who made all the arrangement for me to meet India Prime Minister, and I'm really very happy about it.
The visit will be a memorable one for many people, especially the students.
It was very interesting since we had to meet the Prime Minister of India for the first time, and he was very polite and honorable of him to visit us, and I think it was a great opportunity for us to meet him.
I'm very happy to come here and join the other schools to come and meet the Prime Minister of India.
This event was really exciting to see the Prime Minister of India, and it was really good to have a lot of people come today and to witness the Prime Minister during this special occasion.
Very happy because the way our Prime Minister had did, I'd like to thank Mr. Beni Marama that he bring Mr. Modi to Fiji, and our two countries. The events are very good. Now we will be very happy our Prime Minister what he have done to us.
To thank Mr. Beni Marama for bringing such a big Prime Minister to this small country.
The last visit by a leader of India was 33 years ago. Today's visit has marked another page in the history books about relations between Fiji and India that started over 100 years ago. Sanebua, FBC News.
We turn now to sports, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Coming up, we'll have the latest from the Fiji Under-20 football side. An ex-gratia payment for national sevens players causes a stir. Find out more after the break.
छू 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 हे नमस्ते फीजी। आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
Welcome back. The Vodafone Fiji Under-20 football coaching staff has reiterated their comments that the team needs international exposure more than pleasing results at the OFC President's Cup. The side, which lost 3-0 to Amical of Vanuatu, will next play Busateen of Bahrain on Friday. However, the coaches believe right now it's not about winning everything, but team building and learning. Indra Singh has more.
Taking time out to relax their bodies and minds, and their coaches say these players need all the exposure possible.
But in terms of international exposure and tours, we definitely need that. We have to do that if we're going to improve, because this is a unique experience for Fiji. They have not been in this situation before where they've qualified for a World Cup. And you'll see the level of players and play at the World Cup will be an even step or 3 or 4 steps higher than what we're experiencing now.
Farina, who has played and coached Australia, says while qualifying for the World Cup has been a dream come true, the players right now can't be expected to turn everything into a win.
I think sometimes people's expectations must probably be a little bit too high. It is the first ever Fiji team to qualify for a World Cup. We're playing in a tournament which is a senior tournament, and it's a young team. But I think the euphoria around qualifying for the World Cup, everyone, particularly in Fiji and possibly in the press, their expectations may be a little bit too high. But they've got to remember this is a young side.
He further states there are times when critics need to take a step backwards.
I think will be a huge benefit for Fiji football in most probably 4 or 5, 6 years to come. Because these boys now are 17, 18, 19. 6 years' time they're going to be 23, 24, 25. You imagine the experience they're going to have from what they're doing now, the World Cup, and anything that happens after that.
Team coach Ravinesh Kumar has also echoed Farina's sentiments and says despite the first loss, they are happy with the progress.
But then people may think the other way around, which may not matter to us a lot because we are preparing our team for the World Cup.
Coming from an expert, these comments should carry some weight because after all, Farina knows what he is talking about. Maybe it's time to look at the bigger picture rather than short-term glory. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
The CEO of Digicel Fiji, Darren McLean, says he delivered ex gratia payments himself to a representative of the Vodafone Fiji 7 squad. McLean made the comment as the Fiji Rugby Union issued a statement saying it is not aware of any such payment. Josephine Avula with the details.
Digicel Fiji confirmed the $20,000 ex gratia payment was for the players and not the rugby union. Chief Executive Officer Darren McLean says it was something important to do.
This is really about, this still remains about the players. So the payment that we made was to a representative of the players. It was not to FRU, so I'm not surprised that they're saying they haven't received it. What I am surprised about is that they're saying that the players won't accept it or will refuse to accept it.
McLean declined to disclose who received the money on behalf of the team.
So all I can say is we met with a representative of the players. That representative was given a payment that we agreed would go to the players. And if it can't go to the players, I'd be disappointed to have to take that payment back.
McLean says he sees no reason in stopping what they did.
No matter about sponsorships, no matter about commercial arrangements, this is about trying to do the right thing with the team. I'm really encouraged by the fact that everyone that's been calling me this morning and across the internet and so on is very, very positive about this step. So I'd fail to see why anyone would try and stop this from happening.
Meanwhile, Vodafone Fiji, which is the official sponsor of the national sevens team, says it will issue a second press release after an initial one sent last night. In that statement, Vodafone Fiji raised concerns about the press release issued by its competitor. The statement also said they have sought clarification from FRU and no one seems to be aware of it. Vodafone says they work hand in hand with the management in order to make players have a more enriching experience that of previous years. They say they have had very open discussion with FRU in order to make the sport grow. Josephine Novula, FBC Sports.
In world football today, a number of international friendlies were played across the globe. In one of the biggest games of the day, Portugal and Argentina faced off at Old Trafford. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo skippered their teams, although both stars were substituted at halftime. Portugal winning the match 1-0. Meanwhile, world champions Germany continued with their winning form after defeating former champion Spain 1-0. In other games played today, Brazil had to wait till the final minutes of their match to clinch a 2-1 victory over Austria. England captain Wayne Rooney struck twice to help his side beat Scotland 3-1. Meanwhile, the Australian Socceroos fought hard but lost their match to Japan 2-1. That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Edwin now with business.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with other Pacific Island leaders at a forum for India-Pacific Islands cooperation in Suva this afternoon. Modi offered a number of areas of assistance to the 14 islands. Fiji's High Commissioner to India, Yogesh Karan, says India has offered $1 million to the Pacific Island countries as seed fund to assist them to address the effects of climate change.
One of the areas of support was the scholarships. The scholarships have been doubled, and another announcement has been made that there will be a visa on arrival entry for all of Pacific. So this is I think everyone was waiting for that. That's I think very positive.
Leaders and senior government officials of 14 Pacific Island countries attended the forum. Generally fine weather prevailed over most parts of Fiji today. A trough of low pressure remains slow moving over Rotuma and extends southeastwards over northern parts of Tonga. Another trough affects northern Cooks. Barn notched up 33 degrees today. The other centres recorded slightly lower temperatures. Tomorrow's outlook: cloudy with some showers and isolated thunderstorms over Vanuatu, Taveuni and nearby smaller islands, Pamaiviti and Lau groups, the eastern parts and interior of other larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from possible afternoon or evening showers. And the further outlook is for some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, possible afternoon or evening showers. And recapping our main points again: visas upon arrival for Fijians travelling to India as Fiji and India sign MOU. India's leader Narendra Modi becomes the first foreign dignitary to address Fiji's parliament. And Prime Minister Voringam Bainimarama apologized for Sodelpa's absence from parliament. Now to our poll question. This week's question: is Fiji's recognition in the international fora improving? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our bulletin for today. You can join the team again tomorrow evening. Till then, Isamode.
Isang bulu bida na borong cuma na matang ni kon ni rawon ni bibi na matang ke misa rapo. Ni ada di sambulu bida na sero gori sana ni cuma kira na borong cuma. Tu na sile. Ni sambula oyo Mr. Ben. Ela pa. Na magi kira na bibi mataka mo ni kira borong bukan main ono kena diwa. Ena bulu FM. Apa tu?